So because Criddle, the mighty lord, overseer, and god of the program AnimeBallZ, has asked us all to do some reviews for him this month, I opted and chose to review this here film, Children Who Chase Lost Voices. That's the title of the film, unless, of course, you open it up and have a look on the inside and you see that it's Journey to Agartha. Children Who Chase Lost Voices, and little print down the bottom there, Journey to Agartha. So which is it? I don't know. So I went onto the Wikipedia. Over here, which you can't see, I can, you can't. Over here, Children Who Chase Lost Voices, in brackets, so open parentheses, Hoshio Kodomo, literally translated to Children Who Chase Lost Stars, close bracket. That's already 3 titles. And then you go further down to see what the director, Makoto Shinkai, wanted to call the film. It was Children Who Chase Lost Voices in the Deep, or Deep Underground, or some such thing. I can't actually find it, and I'm not going to get it. It's one of those two. I'll probably put a little note down the bottom telling me which one it was accurately. But in any case, what's the film called? Doesn't really matter, does it? Doesn't really matter. I've wasted precious minutes rambling about nothing because there's a few different contradictory titles. What a waste of time. Anyway, the film is pretty. I think that's where we'll start the thing. It's a very gorgeous little film that might be reminiscent of Studio Ghibli. I'm going to assume most of the people in the audience have seen a Ghibli film. If not, you can check out Bo's little review of My Neighbor Totoro, which is a good jump-in point for Ghibli. But I digress. Mostly I'm digressing because I didn't write anything. I don't own a teleprompter, and I'm not talking about Super Sentai, so I need to sort of talk a lot while my brain does the background process to figure out what I want to talk about next. And what I do want to talk about next is the characters. You've got basically, I'm going to say 4 characters whose name I can remember, plus a kitty cat who's really cute, such a cute little kitty cat. You just want to go up to him and go, your boys, but you're not going to because it's an animated kitty cat. It's not real. You can't pinch its cheeks. It's not real. Anyway, the 4 characters whose name I remember, which I'm going to assume means they're the most important characters in the film, Asuna, Shun, Shin, and the same name as the Blue Go Buster, Ryuji. Hey, there we go. We use Super Sentai to help me with my review of a non-Super Sentai product. I am a one-trick pony, everybody. Oh, wow. That got derailed there, didn't it? You might even say it went
off the tracks.
See, I sort of promised myself I wouldn't make a terrible sort of pun segue sort of thing into that segment thing because I didn't want to make a fool of myself. But here we are, and it is done. And so it is written. Anyway, the film is basically, at its core, about Asuna and Shin dealing with the death of Shun. I'm just making sure I got yeah, no, that's right. Shin was the younger one, Shun was the older one. Shun-kun! Rhymes. And that's the film as a basic premise. It's about accepting and dealing with death. How that interrelates, it's basically the relationship between Shin and Shun, which I won't reveal, the relationship between Asuna and Shun, which I won't reveal, and then consequently the relationship between Asuna and Shin, which I won't reveal, but I'm going to tell you that it's got something to do with Shun. The general theme of dealing with death isn't only explored through the trifecta of Shun, Shin, and Asuna. It's also explored through Ryuji, the other character whose name I remembered. So clearly he's important. His motivation throughout the whole film is to get to Agartha, which I will now point out is actually a place that sort of exists. If this circle that I've just drawn with my hands is the Earth, and the air within the circle, we would assume, thanks to science, is molten rock and lava and friggin' rock and all that nonsense that's not molten rock. I mean, like hard rock as well as molten rock. If we assume that and then forget everything we know about the universe and the planet and science and just get rid of that and assume instead that everything inside this circle is empty and there's people living there with godlike creatures and chalices, which are these crystal things that are super duper amazing, so when something attacks you, it'll go and the thing will bounce off, or it'll make you super powerful and you can jump around and jump off buildings and stuff, and it's pretty cool. That's what Agartha is. It's the hollow insides of the earth populated by humans and godlike creatures, whereby there's a whole heap of magical stuff that us surface dwellers don't get access to, including and not restricted to the ability to bring something back from the dead. And like I said, this is a film about accepting death. I've sort of revealed that there's a little bit of death involved with the Shun character, and Asuna goes into Agartha with Ryuji because Ryuji wants to bring back his dead wife. So what does Asuna want to do? What does Asuna want to do? I don't know, I'm not going to tell you, because that's the fundamental conceit of this film. Asuna figuring out what she wants to do about a dead person whom she felt very strongly for, and the knowledge that there is a way to perhaps bring him back. It's a gorgeous film, and I mean that beyond just the way it looks. It's very pretty. It's very much, like I said, a Studio Ghibli film, and everybody knows those films are gorgeous. It is, I will clarify, not a Studio Ghibli film. It just feels like one and looks like one, which can only be given as a compliment to any piece of anime, because Studio Ghibli films are among the most beautifully animated films this side of 1950s Disney. It's also gorgeous on an emotional level. There's a sequence toward the end which I don't want to spoil, because I feel like if you spoil too much in a review, you've failed as a reviewer and you're not doing your job, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's a sequence toward the end of the film where Asuna's sort of dead. We'll say she's mostly dead, which means she's still slightly alive, but she's mostly dead. And in her mostly dead state, she experiences something with Shun, who has been dead for about three thirds of a film. Adam, 2/3 of the film so far he's been dead for. And meanwhile, in the outside world, everyone, or our other characters, are working towards bringing her back to life. So she's on the other side, if you will, sharing an experience, and there's a moment where she has to choose between Shun or coming back to life and living the rest of her life with the other characters in the film, whom she has, up until this point, built a different relationship with, as compared to the relationship she already has with Shun, and Shun being the catalyst for her going into Agartha to experience this deathly experience, to face and confront death, and potentially usurp its power over the living. So she has to make a decision, and it's probably not the most emotional experience I've had while watching film, but it's definitely up there in the top 10 through to 15. Sounds like a good number. I'm not going to sort of really work that out, but it sounds like a good number. And it's just gorgeous. One last thing I will say, though. I was watching the whole film feeling, this film feels a little bit like Spirited Away. It's like, no, I like Spirited Away. Spirited Away is a bit messy. It doesn't really make much sense. It's sort of stuff happening because it can happen, but it's like a less messy, more cohesive Spirited Away. I'm like, no, I'm feeling like this. And then I realised that Shun/Shin share the same voice actor as the river dragon dude from Spirited Away. What's his name? What is his? Haku! The Haku Spirity River thing. Share the same voice actor. In Japanese, because I'm one of those guys who watches it in Japanese, because I'm a bit of a pretentious twat, but whatever. It's a good film, you should watch it. On a scale from Go Busters to Jetman, I'm going to give it a Gosei Sentai Dai Ranger. Children who chase stars when you translate the literal